The courtroom froze the moment the sheriff's daughter walked in, chin high, confidence untouched by consequence. She smirked at Judge Judy and whispered loudly that the judge was fake and powerless. A few people exchanged looks. Even the cameras seemed to pause. It was the kind of insult that comes from believing your name can protect you. Judge Judy didn't react, no anger, no warning. She simply watched, because what followed wasn't just a response. It was a slow, deliberate unraveling that would expose privilege, test authority, and leave the sheriff's daughter facing a truth she never saw coming. But before we jump in, tell me, where are you watching from? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The insult still hangs in the air when Judge Judy finally looks up, not with outrage, but with a calm so sharp it could cut through steel. Avery Holt mistakes that calm for weakness. It is her first mistake. The courtroom feels smaller now, as if the walls themselves have leaned in to witness the confrontation unfolding between a girl who thinks she is untouchable and a judge who has dismantled far stronger egos. Avery settles into her chair with casual confidence, legs crossed, one eyebrow raised. She wears entitlement the way others wear, clothing comfortably, effortlessly, unconsciously. Her tone drips with practiced dismissal. Can we get this over with? I have things to do. Even the bailiff's eyes shift. The camera tilts subtly, narrowing the frame around Avery's smirk. She does not know it yet, but this moment will replay online for years the instant her downfall began. Across the aisle, Maria Torres stands with quiet restraint, hands pressed against a stack of documents as if grounding herself. Her posture is small, but her presence is not. Maria represents something Avery has never faced, a truth that does not care about last names. Judge Judy's voice slices through the tension. Miss Torres, you will begin. This is your claim. Her tone is neutral, but her gaze is already measuring Avery, watching not what she says, but how she reacts when she believes she holds the upper hand. Maria explains the damage to her rental property. Broken doors, shattered light fixtures, unpaid fees, ignored notices. Each sentence is steady, factual, never embellished. She speaks like someone who has been dismissed too many times to risk emotion now. Avery interrupts twice before Maria can finish. That is exaggerated. She is being dramatic. I barely lived there. Judge Judy raises a single finger. Silence falls like a curtain. Avery leans back, arms folded, lips curling into a self-satisfied grin. Her father's badge is not physically present, but its shadow hangs behind her like armor. She believes it will protect her. She believes it always has. But Judge Judy notices something Avery does not. The way Maria's eyes flicker toward the folder she brought. The way Avery's smile stiffens when that folder comes into view. Evidence has weight, and this folder carries more than Avery expects. Miss Torres, Judge Judy says calmly, is that the rental file? Maria nods. The folder sits heavily in her hands, filled with photographs, messages, and records the kind of truth that does not bend under pressure. Avery's smile twitches. Judge Judy sees it. The camera pulls in closer, capturing the exact moment Avery's confidence falters barely, but enough. Bring it forward, Judy says. Maria steps toward the bench. Avery's eyes follow the folder like a threat moving through the room. Judge Judy hasn't reacted to Avery's earlier insult at all. She does not need to, because what is coming will answer it far more powerfully than anger ever could. As Maria places the folder on the desk, Avery leans forward, ready to fire off another insult, unaware Judge Judy has already spotted the first crack in her armor. Avery inhales, ready to launch her next insult, but Judge Judy beats her to it. Miss Holt, let us start with something simple. The shift is immediate. The courtroom air changes temperature, dropping from arrogance warm to judgment cold in a single breath. Avery straightens, visibly thrown off by losing control of the floor. She recovers quickly, chin raised, lips curled into a smirk she has worn like armor for years. Judge Judy flips open the folder Maria handed over. The sound paper sliding against paper is soft, but in this courtroom, it is thunder. Avery pretends not to notice. Miss Holt, Judy begins. On your form, you indicated you moved out on June 3rd. Is that correct? Avery waves a hand. Obviously. Obviously, Judy repeats, her tone flat. Then why are there dated photographs of the property taken on June 10th, showing your belongings still inside? Avery blinks. The confidence dims by a millimeter. Those pictures are misleading. Judy does not look up. Are the dates misleading? Or the belongings? The courtroom audience shifts. Like a single organism turning its head, Avery scoffs. The dates do not matter. I had people moving things for me. People? Judy asks. You mean movers? Avery hesitates. Friends. Friends who left your clothes, appliances, and 3 broken cabinet doors behind. A flush climbs up Avery's neck. Maria watches silently, fingers pressed together, grounding herself against the unfolding tension. Judge Judy shifts to the next page. You stated the property was already damaged when you moved in. It was, Avery snaps, leaning forward. I told her that. You told Miss Torres, Judy interrupts sharply, in a text message on your move-in date, that the place looked perfect, and you loved the lighting, and the kitchen needed nothing. Do you see how that complicates your statement? Avery's jaw tightens. She glances toward the gallery as if searching for support, validation, anything. She finds only eyes, watching, waiting. Privilege never likes being examined. It thrives in assumptions, in shortcuts, in unearned certainty. Under questions, it flinches. Judge Judy continues, slow and surgical. You also claim that you paid on time, every month. I did, Avery insists. Judy lifts a canceled check. This is dated 3 weeks late. Avery sputters. My bank, that must have been them. I do not control processing. The murmurs return threaded amusement, disbelief, and a rising awareness that the sheriff's daughter is not used to being challenged. Maria, still quiet, adds gently, She told me delays were none of my business. Avery whirls on her. I said that because you were nagging. Enough, Judy snaps, raising a hand. We are not here for your attitude. We are here for facts. And the facts are having a very difficult time supporting your story. Avery falls back into her chair, stunned. The cameras tilt slightly, capturing her expression. A mixture of indignation and something she has not yet recognized as fear. Judge Judy closes the folder halfway, not all the way, the signal that more is coming. Miss Torres, Judy says, eyes narrowing on Avery. Bring me the rental file you mentioned earlier, the one with the messages. Avery freezes. That file was not supposed to exist. Avery's smirk fades the instant Maria reaches into her tote bag. The camera follows Avery's eyes, widening, darting as the thick folder appears. Something inside her cracks. Maria steps forward slowly, as if carrying something fragile. Maybe she is. Truth often arrives that way, quietly, gently, before it tears the room open. The folder lands on Judge Judy's desk with a soft thud, but the sound ripples through the courtroom like a warning shot. Judge Judy opens it without ceremony. Avery sits up straight, fingers tightening around the armrests. That is not. That cannot be. But she cannot finish the sentence. Her voice breaks before her logic does. Judy lifts the first page, a series of text messages. Blue and gray bubbles fill the enlarged printouts, and every one of Avery's words glows like a confession. You told Miss Torres, Judy reads, that you would handle any issues with neighbors, and that no one says no to you or your family. Avery laughs too loud, too sharp. It is the kind of laugh people use when panic claws at their ribs. Those messages were jokes. Jokes, Judy repeats quietly. Are threats humorous to you? They were not threats, Avery snaps, but her voice wavers. The crack widens. Maria steps back to her table, shoulders tight, eyes guarded. She has lived months with these texts, sitting like ghosts in her phone, messages she reread, not for proof, but for courage. She stands straighter now, grounded by the honesty finally being seen. Judge Judy flips to the next set of photos. Holes punched in drywall, a shattered bathroom mirror, a kitchen cabinet hanging loose by a single hinge. "These," Judy says, "were taken 2 days after you claim you moved out." Avery swallows hard. Her gaze drops for the first time. Then she tries the oldest defense in the book. She must have staged them. She wants money. Judy does not even blink. "Miss Holt, Miss Torres would have had to damage her own property, photograph it, then somehow convince your friend to admit you had gatherings there the week after you moved out. Does that sound plausible?" Avery looks at her friend, seated nervously behind her, the girl who avoids Avery's eyes, staring at the floor as if the tiles can shield her. Judy notices. Her tone sharpens. "Is this the witness you brought to support you?" Avery forces a smile that collapses at the edges. "Yes. She knows I did nothing wrong." Judy closes the folder halfway, that same signal again. She is not finished. "Bring the witness forward," she instructs. Avery turns, whispering something quick, low, and frantic to her friend. The friend flinches. The cameras zoom in. Body language never lies. Fear reveals more than testimony. Judge Judy sees everything. As the friend rises, trembling, Judy leans back and says, "Before you speak, I need to ask one thing. Did Miss Holt tell you what to say today?" Avery's breath catches. Her friend's eyes fill with panic. The unraveling has begun. The side door opens before Avery can turn toward it. Footsteps hesitant, soft, uneven cross the courtroom floor. Avery's smile dies the moment she recognizes who is walking in. Lena steps forward like someone approaching a cliff she did not choose to stand on. Her fingers tremble around the strap of her purse, shoulders slightly hunched, eyes flicking between Avery and the floor. She has the posture of someone who has practiced agreeing for most of her life. Avery forces a grin. "Lena. Hey." The cheerfulness in Avery's voice is brittle. It splinters at the edges. Lena hears it. Everyone does. Judge Judy nods toward the witness stand. "Come forward." Lena obeys, nearly tripping on the last step. Avery whispers sharply, "Do not mess this up." The microphone picks up just enough of the tone to make the audience shift. Judy's eyes narrow. When Lena sits, she folds her hands in her lap, gripping them tightly, a silent plea for steadiness. The camera zooms in on her knuckles, white from pressure. "Miss Lena," Judy begins, voice calm but intentional. "How long have you known Miss Holt?" "About 5 years," Lena says. Her voice is thin, stretched. "We were friends in high school. Are you still friends?" Avery nods vigorously behind her, but Lena hesitates. Yes. Yes." Judge Judy lets the hesitation hang in the air. "Miss Torres alleges the property was damaged while Miss Holt was still occupying it. Were you present during that time?" Lena swallows. "Sometimes." "Sometimes?" Judy repeats softly. Lena glances at Avery. Avery's stare is sharp, demanding, unblinking. The kind of stare that tells a person who they are supposed to be. Lena looks away quickly. "Miss Holt hosted gatherings after she claimed she moved out," Judy says. "Were you at any of those gatherings?" Silence. Not because Lena does not know the answer, but because she knows it too well. Avery hisses under her breath. "Say no." Lena's shoulders jerk at the whisper. Judy notices immediately. "Miss Holt," Judge Judy warns, "you will not speak to the witness during questioning." Avery sits back, but her eyes stay locked on Lena with the intensity of someone trying to control a puppet without strings. Judy continues. "Lena, did Miss Holt tell you what to say today?" Lena's breathing stutters. Her eyes lower. Her hands unclasp and then clasp again, trembling harder. The room holds its breath. The cameras stop moving. Even the fluorescent lights seem to dim. Lena looks at Avery once. It is the kind of look that carries years of pressure, friendship, manipulation, guilt, and fear all at once. Then she looks at Judge Judy. Her voice cracks open. She said to tell you she did nothing wrong." A murmur ripples through the room. Avery's head snaps back, as if struck. Judy leans in. "Did she instruct you to lie?" Lena's eyes fill. She nods barely, but undeniably. Avery explodes. "Lena!" What are you doing? Are you trying to ruin my life? But Judy lifts a hand, stopping the outburst with effortless authority. Miss Holt, Judge Judy says, voice cold as glass, if you coached your witness to lie in my courtroom, this case is about to become much bigger than damages. Avery's face drains of color, and the courtroom finally sees the first true fracture of privilege. Lena's trembling confession still hangs in the air when Avery spins toward her, eyes blazing, voice rising not with confidence anymore, but with fear dressed as fury. Are you kidding me? Avery snaps, her voice cracking on the last word. You are seriously doing this to me in front of everyone? Lena shrinks back in the witness chair, spine folding inward the way people fold when they have spent years trying to avoid the blowback of someone else's storms. Her eyes shine. Her hands twist together. She wants to disappear. Judge Judy watches the scene unfold without blinking. Miss Holt, she says, tone razor thin. You do not intimidate witnesses in my courtroom. Avery laughs short, sharp, frantic. Intimidate? I am not intimidating anyone. She is lying because she is jealous. She always has been. Ask anyone. Lena's breath catches at the accusation. The courtroom murmurs soft, disbelieving, disappointed. The cameras zoom in on Avery's face, capturing the precise moment when arrogance shifts into chaos. Maria, from her table, watches with a mixture of sorrow and validation. She has seen this pattern before. The person hurting you becomes louder when the truth finally pushes through their defenses. Judge Judy lifts the voicemail disc from the table. It glints under the courtroom lights. We will get to that, she says calmly. For now, we address the fact that your witness just admitted you told her what to say. That does not mean anything, Avery argues. Everyone talks before court. Everyone tells their friends, hey, this is what really happened. That is all I did. Judy tilts her head, eyes narrowing. Is that so? Because your witness did not say you told her what happened. She said you told her what to say. There is a difference, Miss Holt. A very large difference. Avery's breath becomes uneven. The cracks are spreading, splintering through the facade she spent years polishing. The confidence she wore so casually now looks like a costume one size too small. Maria stands. Your Honor. May I speak? Judy nods. With trembling fingers, Maria retrieves her phone and pulls up a saved voicemail. This was left for me by Miss Holt 2 weeks after she claimed she moved out, she says. I was hesitant to bring it, but I think it shows her intentions. Avery's head snaps toward her. Do not you dare, but it is too late. Maria walks the phone to the bench. Her steps are steady, her eyes soft but firm. This is not revenge. This is truth, trying to breathe. Judge Judy takes the phone and examines the file name. Her eyebrows lift slightly. A threatening voicemail, she says. From you, Miss Holt. Avery swallows. Her pulse is visible in her throat. Judy places the phone on the sound dock. Before we play this, do you have anything you wish to clarify? Avery opens her mouth, but nothing comes out. The courtroom feels colder. The lights seem harsher. Her silence speaks louder than any outburst she could manage. Judge Judy presses the button. A single click echoes through the room, and Avery's own voice begins to pour from the speakers. The click of the audio player is barely audible, yet it freezes the entire courtroom. Avery's face drains as her own voice fills the air. At first, the recording is faint, muffled background noise, a breath, a rustle. Then, Avery's voice cuts through, sharp as broken glass. Maria, I told you to stop bothering me. You do not get to question me. People know who my family is. I can make things very difficult for you if you keep pushing this. A low gasp drifts across the gallery. Avery's jaw drops open, but she cannot form a single word. Her bravado evaporates under the harsh truth of her own voice. She looks smaller now, like someone caught in the spotlight they never believed would turn on them. Judge Judy does not react outwardly. Her stillness is a storm, contained. The voicemail continues. You are lucky I even talked to you. If you keep nagging me about the rent, I will make sure no landlord touches your application again. understand? I can shut things down fast. Maria closes her eyes. Even though she has heard this message before, it wounds her again less because of the threat, more because of the callousness. Avery lunges forward. That is taken out of context. I was frustrated. You do not understand what she put me through. What she put you through, Judy repeats, eyebrows lifting. Miss Torres asked for rent and property care. That is the bare minimum expected of a tenant. Avery's breath stutters. I was joking. Threatening someone's livelihood is not a joke, Judy says, her tone cooling even more. Nor is using perceived authority as leverage. Lena wipes a tear at the witness stand, but Avery barely notices. She is spiraling. You do not get it, Avery explodes. Everyone expects things from me. They expect me to be perfect. They think because my dad is sheriff, I have to be. She stops herself. Too late. Judy doesn't interrupt. She lets the silence sharpen. Perfect? She finally says. No one here asked you for perfection. They asked you for honesty, responsibility, and respect. Avery sinks back into her chair, chest rising and falling quickly. For the first time, all case, she does not look angry, she looks terrified. Maria clears her throat softly. Your Honor, this is why I was scared to push further. I did not know what she could do. I just wanted my home taken care of. That is all. Her voice cracks at the end. The vulnerability in it is enough to shift the room's energy. Judy turns to Avery again, gaze steady. Miss Holt, do you understand the gravity of what was just played? This is not irritation. This is intimidation. Avery grips the table's edge, fingers whitening. I did not mean it that way. Intent, Judy replies, does not erase impact. The weight of those words lands like a gavel before the actual gavel does. Avery understands something now, something she has spent years avoiding. Her name cannot protect her here. She swallows hard. What happens now? Judy leans forward. There is something you are still hiding, Miss Holt, and we are about to uncover it. Avery does not answer immediately. Not because she refuses, but because she suddenly looks like someone who finally realizes the shield she has been hiding behind is starting to crack. Judge Judy studies her, eyes steady, unfazed by the frantic rise and fall of Avery's chest. The courtroom feels heavier now, as if the truth itself has taken a chair beside the bench, waiting to be heard. Miss Holt, Judy says calmly, your behavior suggests more than simple entitlement. Something has encouraged you to believe accountability does not apply to you. Why is that? Avery swallows. Her throat works hard, but her voice barely emerges. People assume things, she mutters. They think I get special treatment because of my dad. And do you? Judy presses. Avery shifts. I mean, no, not really. People just know who he is. That is not what I asked, Judy replies. The silence sharpens. It is a yes or no question. Do you use your father's position to intimidate others? Avery flinches. Her fingers twist into her sleeves, tugging until the fabric almost tears. Panic flickers in her eyes, not the loud, arrogant kind, but the quiet, suffocating kind that appears when a lie can no longer breathe. Before she can speak, Lena steps forward slightly. Her voice is soft, but it cuts through the room. She does, Lena whispers. She has done it before. Avery snaps toward her. Stop talking. Judge Judy slams her palm down, not the gavel, just her hand, but it lands with the force of authority earned over decades. Avery freezes mid-breath. You will not silence anyone in here, Judy says. Not today. Avery's lip trembles. A rare, raw vulnerability leaks through. I did not mean to hurt anyone, she whispers. Intent does not negate effect, Judy reminds her. Did you threaten tenants? Classmates? Anyone else? Avery's eyes dart, desperate for escape. I just told them my dad knew people, that he could help resolve problems. Lena shakes her head. She said her dad could shut things down. She used those exact words. The gallery murmurs. That phrase means something different, coming from a sheriff's daughter. Judge Judy hears it too. She leans back, eyes narrowing. That is not help. That is intimidation. Avery's shoulders slump. Everyone expected me to be like him, she mutters. Strong, untouchable. Strength, Judy says, is not measured by how many people you can scare.
This one, she says, lifting the smaller page, is from your father. Avery's breath stops. No, he would never. But the truth is already unfolding. Judy reads aloud. My daughter has been using my position to intimidate others. I have reprimanded her repeatedly. I cannot continue shielding her from consequences. A sound escapes Avery, half gasp, half wounded animal. He sent that. He actually sent that. Lena covers her mouth. Maria's eyes soften with reluctant sympathy. Even the bailiff shifts, discomfort blooming in the quiet. Judge Judy sets the note down gently, as though it is something fragile. Miss Holt, this was submitted privately. He did not intend to embarrass you. He intended to stop a dangerous habit. Avery's world tilts. Her armor, arrogance, entitlement, bravado, falls away piece by piece until nothing remains but a frightened young woman who has been leaning on a shadow that no longer supports her. I was not trying to hurt anyone, she whispers. I did not want to be nobody. Judy's voice softens only slightly. Power is not identity, it is responsibility, and you have confused the two for a very long time. Avery covers her face. Her shoulders shake. The courtroom is silent, not out of judgment, but out of witnessing a truth too heavy to ignore. Judy slides the reports aside. Miss Holt, this case is no longer just about property damages. She leans in, voice cold, final. It is about the abuse of authority, yours, and the authority you stole from your father. Avery's tears fall. And for the first time, she has no shield left. Avery does not speak. Not because she refuses, but because, for the first time since stepping into this courtroom, she no longer knows what to say. Her mouth is slightly open, her breath shaky, her eyes glassy and unfocused. The file on Judge Judy's desk has done what no confrontation, no argument, no insult ever could. It has stripped Avery Holt of the certainty she built her entire identity on. Silence folds around her like a heavy blanket. Judge Judy does not fill it. She lets Avery feel it. Because silence is where truth echoes the loudest. Maria watches from her table, hands clasped, expression conflicted. She has every reason to resent Avery, yet seeing the young woman crumple under her own choices leaves a soft ache in her chest. Justice does not always feel triumphant. Sometimes it feels like watching someone wake up in a cold room with no familiar shadows left to hide under. Miss Holt, Judy finally says, her voice measured, you have used your father's authority to avoid personal responsibility. You have intimidated people who had no power to defend themselves. And you have lied, repeatedly, until the lies became your shield. Avery swallows. Her voice escapes in a whisper. I did not mean to hurt anybody. Judy tilts her head slightly. Then why did you?
Avery blinks rapidly, tears trembling at the edges of her lashes. She looks at Lena, who flinches. At Maria, who holds her gaze gently but firmly. At the cameras, which she realizes are capturing her not as the confident sheriff's daughter, but as a frightened young woman unraveling under the weight of her own choices. I felt like if I did not act strong, people would walk all over me, Avery murmurs. And if people knew my dad was sheriff, they respected me more. Respected? Judy repeats softly. Or feared? Avery's breath catches. The cold truth lodges in her throat. They feared you, Judy answers for her. Because that is what you wanted. Fear is easier to obtain than respect. A quiet gasp ripples through the room. It is not shock, it is recognition. Lena wipes her cheeks. You were my friend, Avery. I was never scared of you, until you made me be. Avery's lips tremble. I am sorry, she whispers, though it is unclear whether she says it to Lena, to Maria, or to the younger version of herself who started down this path long ago. Maria stands slowly. Your Honor, I do not want her destroyed. I want her to understand the damage she caused. I want her to stop hurting people just because she can. Her voice is gentle, but it does not waver. Avery bows her head, shame settling into her shoulders like a weight she cannot lift. Judge Judy nods. Miss Holt, remorse is a beginning, but only when paired with accountability. Avery wipes her eyes, breathing tremblingly. I will do whatever I need to. Judy leans forward. We are not finished. There is something deeper here, something you are still not admitting. Avery stiffens. Judy's voice lowers, steady and precise. Tell this courtroom the truth. Miss Holt, not about your father, about why you needed his power so desperately. The question hits harder than any evidence. Do you believe remorse should ever erase guilt, or does justice demand consequences, even when someone finally breaks? Avery opens her mouth to answer Judge Judy's question, but the words don't come. Only a soft, broken sound escapes, like truth fighting its way through years of practiced denial. Lena watches her with wide, wounded eyes. Maria stands still, steady as a pillar. And Judge Judy waits not impatiently, not angrily, but with the kind of calm that makes hiding impossible. Miss Holt, Judy says softly, look at me. Avery hesitates, then lifts her gaze. It is the first time she truly looks at the judge, without arrogance, without entitlement, without the belief that she can out-talk or outmaneuver the moment. Her eyes are wet, her defenses thin as paper. Her voice cracks. I did not mean for any of this to happen. Judy nods once, but not encouragingly, expectantly. Then, explain. Before Avery can speak, Lena steps forward, voice trembling. Your Honor, she has always felt like she had to act bigger than she was. People teased her in school, called her badge baby. She hated it. Avery snaps toward her. Stop. Please. Lena freezes. Judge Judy intervenes. Let her talk. Avery squeezes her eyes shut, shoulders curling inward. They made fun of me because of my dad. Said the only reason people listened to me was because of him. I got tired of feeling small, tired of people laughing, and so, Judy says gently but firmly, you learned that fear worked faster than respect. Avery's breath catches. Her hand grips the table like it's the only solid thing in her world. Maria steps forward slightly, not out of sympathy, but understanding. Feeling small doesn't give you the right to make others feel unsafe. Avery nods, a broken, jerky movement. I know that now. Judge Judy studies her. When did this behavior begin? After high school? Earlier? Avery hesitates too long. Lena answers quietly. After her dad stopped covering for her. A tension shift ripples across the courtroom. Judy turns to Lena. Explain. Lena looks down. There were incidents. Little ones. Arguments. Threats. He used to step in, talk to people, smooth things out. But last year, he told her he wouldn't do it anymore. Avery whispers. Stop, Lena. But Lena continues, voice breaking. She told me she felt abandoned, that she had to prove she could still get what she wanted. Avery's eyes fill with tears so quickly she can't blink them away. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I didn't want to be ignored. Judy's tone becomes almost quiet. Miss Holt, using your father's authority to control people is not strength. It is fear yours, projected onto others. Avery collapses into her chair. Not dramatically, not loudly, just collapses. Her shoulders round, her head bows, her fingers tremble. A lifetime of hiding behind a badge that was never hers finally dissolves into raw, unguarded humanity. I'm sorry, she whispers, voice thin, for everything, for all of it. Maria watches her, the woman who once terrified her now small, exposed, broken open by her own choices. Empathy flickers, but so does the memory of sleepless nights and threats she didn't deserve. Judge Judy leans forward. Miss Holt, remorse is necessary, but not sufficient. You have more to reveal. Avery looks up, eyes rimmed red. What else do you want from me? Judy's voice is steady. The truth you're avoiding. Not about your actions, about the fear behind them. Avery's face drains. The courtroom knows. The hardest admission is coming next. Avery lifts her head at Judge Judy's command, but the expression on her face is not anger, not arrogance, not even fear. It is something deeper, something she has spent years burying. Her eyes shine with a fragile sheen, like glass under too much pressure. One wrong word could shatter her completely. Judge Judy waits, patient but unyielding. Miss Holt, what are you afraid of? Avery opens her mouth, no sound comes out. She closes it again, swallowing hard. The courtroom holds its breath. Maria stands still. Lena's hands twist. Even the bailiff, normally a statue of neutrality, shifts subtly, sensing the emotional weight gathering like a storm tide. Finally, Avery exhales a broken whisper. I'm afraid of being nothing. The room does not react at first. The statement is too soft, too naked. It needs a moment to settle, to expand, to reveal what it truly means. Judge Judy leans forward, not unkindly. Explain. Avery's breath trembles, her shoulders hitching as she forces out words she never intended to speak aloud. My dad, he's this hero to everyone. He walks into a room and people straighten up, smile at him, respect him. He's always been larger than life. And she swallows again, voice cracking. I never knew how to be anything but his daughter. I don't know who I am without his name. Lena closes her eyes, absorbing what she always suspected but never heard spoken. Maria watches with quiet stillness, compassion flickering through her restraint. Avery continues, the words falling faster now, as if the dam inside her has finally cracked open. When I was younger, people ignored me, or mocked me, or treated me like I was just the sheriff's kid. So I thought, maybe if I spoke like him, acted like him, people would notice me. Maybe they'd respect me too. But no one respected me, they just feared me. And I pretended that was the same thing. Judge Judy's voice softens, but only by a fraction. Why threaten people, Miss Holt? Why intimidate instead of understanding? Why take the authority that wasn't yours? Avery's eyes brim again, tears rolling freely now. Because she clenches her jaw. But the truth breaks through anyway. Because my father told me last year that he was done cleaning up after me, that he was ashamed, and that if I didn't learn to stand on my own, I'd fall. The courtroom shifts. Even the air feels different, and I panicked. Avery chokes out. I panicked because I didn't know how to be strong without pretending to be him. So I pushed harder, talked bigger, lied, threatened. I kept trying to be someone I thought he wanted, even after he told me he didn't. Judge Judy studies her, eyes piercing through the confession. So, the intimidation, she says slowly, wasn't about power. Avery shakes her head. It was about not feeling powerless, Avery whispers. I didn't know who I was without fear to hide behind. The revelation lands like a final blow, raw, painful, disarming. This is not just guilt, not just fear, but an identity crumbling in real time. Judge Judy folds her hands. Miss Holt, what your father told you may have felt like abandonment. She leans in, voice steady, unflinching. But what if he wasn't abandoning you at all? What if he was trying to save you from becoming exactly who you are today? Avery's breath catches. The meaning hits her harder than any evidence. Her entire world shifts. Avery's confession still hangs in the air like smoke after a blaze, and though she's stopped talking, the truth hasn't finished speaking for her. Judge Judy lets the silence rest, not as punishment, but as space for the weight of everything Avery has admitted. The courtroom is unnervingly quiet. Even the hum of the lights seems softer now, as if the room itself has shifted from confrontation to consequence. Avery stares at the desk in front of her, eyes swollen, breath tight, clinging to the thin thread of composure she has left. She looks younger now, no longer the sheriff's daughter, no longer the arrogant defendant, just a girl who has finally run out of places to hide. Judy speaks first, her voice lower and steadier than before. "Miss Holt, I appreciate your honesty, but truth does not erase impact. It only reveals the path forward." Avery nods weakly, though her chin trembles. "I know." Maria steps forward slowly, hands clasped, expression softened by the vulnerability laid bare before her. She takes a small breath. "Your Honor, it wasn't just the threats. It was the feeling that I didn't matter, that someone like me could be pushed aside because someone like her said so." Avery closes her eyes, a tear slipping free. Maria gently shakes her head. Intent doesn't undo fear. The line echoes Judge Judy's earlier words, landing with quiet power. Judy shifts her attention to Maria. "Miss Torres, you have shown remarkable patience and restraint throughout this process. I recognize the position this put you in." She turns back to Avery. "This is why accountability matters not just legally, but morally." Avery whispers, "I'll do whatever it takes to fix this." But Judy is not finished. "Miss Holt, repairing what you've done requires more than promises. It requires consequence." The word lands heavy, final, and inevitable. Your actions affected multiple people. Not just Miss Torres. Not just your friend. Anyone who believed you could harm them through your father's office suffered unnecessary fear. Avery nods slowly, tears falling freely now. "I understand." Judy continues. "There will be restitution for the property damage. There will be additional fees for the stress and interference caused to Miss Torres's ability to manage her home. And there may be administrative repercussions for the misuse of perceived authority." Avery's breath hitches a soft, involuntary sound. The kind that comes from realizing the shadow she once felt protected by has now become part of the consequence she must face. Maria watches her carefully. There is no triumph in her eyes, only the heavy empathy of someone who understands that justice can sting even when it's fair. "Miss Holt," Judy says, voice quieter now, "the people you intimidated carry echoes of those moments. Fear doesn't vanish just because the threat ends. It lingers." Avery's hands shake. I'm sorry. Truly." The apology lands differently this time. Not as a tactic, not as a shield, but as a step. A small one, a necessary one, but not enough on its own. Judy folds her hands. "There is still one question left for you, Miss Holt." Avery looks up, eyes red, voice barely audible. "What is it?" Judy leans forward, gaze unblinking. "Do you want to change who you are? Or are you only sorry you were caught?" The question slices deeper than any evidence ever could, and Avery's answer will define everything that comes next. Avery wipes her face, but the tears don't stop. Confession may have lightened her chest, but consequences have only begun to settle on her shoulders. Judge Judy waits, giving Avery the space to breathe, but not the space to retreat. The courtroom feels different now, less like an arena, more like a crossroads. Avery's collapse has taken the fight out of the air, replacing it with a quiet, heavy reckoning. "Miss Holt," Judy begins, voice even but edged with purpose, "you cannot move forward without understanding the true cost of what you've done." Avery nods shakily, though her eyes remain fixed on the desk, as if afraid that looking up will make everything even more real. Maria watches her, hands clasped in front of her, her expression thoughtful, not forgiving yet, but no longer hardened. Lena stands off to the side, arms wrapped around herself, wrestling with the pull between old loyalty and newfound truth. Judy continues, "Accountability is not simply repayment. It is reflection, acknowledgement, and change. You've taken the first step by admitting your actions. Now you must face what those actions have created." Avery inhales sharply. "Please, I want to understand. I want to be better." "Good," Judy replies. "Then you must hear the impact from the person who lived it." Maria steps forward, hesitating for only a moment before speaking. When you threatened me, I didn't just worry about the rent. I worried about my safety. I worried about losing my home. I worried about who might show up at my door because of what you said. Avery winces, grief curling her shoulders inward. Maria continues softly. I didn't hate you. I feared you. And that fear followed me into my sleep, into my job, into how I talked to strangers. It changed me. That's the cost of intimidation. People don't forget it. Avery presses a hand to her chest, as if steadying her heartbeat. I'm so sorry, she whispers, not excusing, not arguing, but absorbing. Judge Judy nods, satisfied that the weight is settling where it belongs. Miss Holt, remorse alone cannot undo the damage, but it is a necessary beginning. Now the ruling will reflect not only the financial restitution, but the moral responsibility you owe. Avery swallows, bracing. First, Judy says, you will pay full restitution for the property damage, every cent. You will also cover additional administrative fees for Miss Torres's time and stress. Avery nods. Second, Judy continues, a formal written apology will be issued to Miss Torres, not a performative one, a genuine one. Avery nods again, tears dripping onto the table. And third, Judy adds, voice turning firm, I will be forwarding documentation regarding your misuse of perceived authority to the appropriate oversight channels. Whether your father intervenes further is his decision, not yours. Avery's breath stutters. That consequence cuts deepest. But she does not protest, because she knows she has no right to. Judy studies her for a long moment, then asks, do you understand why these consequences exist? Avery looks up. Her voice is small, but clear. Because people deserve to feel safe, and I took that from them. Judge Judy nods once. A hard truth learned, a necessary truth accepted. Judy folds her hands, leaning forward. Before we finalize anything, Miss Holt, there is one last lesson you must hear, a lesson your father never taught you. Avery freezes. Whatever comes next will not be gentle. Avery sits perfectly still, almost afraid to breathe. Judge Judy's words hover between them, heavy, deliberate, carrying the weight of a truth Avery has never faced. Judge Judy leans forward, fingers laced together, posture quiet but commanding. The room's fluorescent lights soften as if absorbing the tension rather than amplifying it. Miss Holt, she begins, your father taught you many things, discipline, pride, obedience. But he did not teach you the one lesson every person in authority must learn. The difference between power and responsibility. Avery's eyes lift slowly, red-rimmed, exhausted, desperate for guidance she never received. Judy continues, her tone steady, almost reflective. People see a badge and think it symbolizes strength. But true strength isn't in the badge. It is in the restraint that comes with it. The humility to understand that authority is not a crown someone wears, it is a weight someone carries. The courtroom is silent, captivated. Avery whispers, he always said, the badge meant people trusted him. Trusted him, Judy echoes, nodding. Not feared him, not obeyed him blindly. Trusted him, because he earned that trust through choices, not intimidation. Avery swallows, her throat tight. I thought, if I acted like him, people would take me seriously. But you didn't act like him, Judy says gently but firmly. You acted like the shadow you imagined him to be. You borrowed his authority without understanding the responsibility attached to it. Maria watches, her expression softening. Lena wipes another tear. Even the gallery, which had judged Avery harshly at the beginning, now sees something they didn't expect. A young woman learning, painfully and publicly, the lesson she should have learned years ago. Judge Judy's gaze sharpens, though her voice remains calm. Authority does not demand respect. Behavior earns it. And your behavior threats, coercion, lies earned fear, resentment, and distrust. That is the truth your father tried to save you from when he stopped intervening. Avery's chin quivers. I thought he gave up on me. No, Judy says, with a rare softness. He was giving you the opportunity to grow, but you chose to fill the void with borrowed power. Avery's breath shakes. I didn't know how to be anything else. Judy nods once. Then, today is the first day you learn. The words land like a gavel made of truth rather than wood. Humility, she says, is not weakness. It is the courage to see ourselves clearly, to accept our flaws, to repair what we have broken. Avery wipes her cheek with the back of her hand. I want to fix it. I really do. Maria steps forward. Then start by being honest with yourself. That's how real change begins. Avery nods, shoulders trembling under the emotional weight. Judge Judy looks between them, recognizing the moment for what it is. Not forgiveness, not absolution, but transformation beginning to take shape. And then she straightens. Miss Holt, she says, reaching for her gavel, you have heard the truth. You have faced the consequences. But there is one final step in this courtroom. Avery braces. Judge Judy lifts the gavel, slow, deliberate. It is time for the verdict. The room holds its breath. Before the final ruling, what do you think justice should look like in a case like this? Firm punishment or compassionate accountability? The gavel hangs in the air for a heartbeat. Suspended between who Avery Holt was when she walked into this courtroom and who she will be when she walks out, Judge Judy lowers the gavel with a slow, deliberate breath. The courtroom leans in, every eye fixed on the bench. The transformation they've witnessed has turned the room from a stage of confrontation into a chamber of reckoning. Miss Holt, Judy begins, her voice steady but not unkind. You came into this courtroom believing your name and your father's reputation were shields. But today proved that even the strongest shadows can't cover the truth forever. Avery nods faintly. Her hands are clasped together on the table, not in defiance, but in acceptance. Her eyes are still swollen, but steady, softened, different. Judge Judy straightens the papers on her desk, aligning the edges with care. It is a small gesture, but symbolic, bringing order to something chaotic. This ruling, she continues, is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to redirect you. Avery swallows, whispering, I understand. Judy nods. Good, because justice is not revenge. Justice restores balance. The courtroom listens, silent and reverent. First, Judy says, you will pay full restitution to Miss Torres for all property damage. Every broken fixture, every repair cost, every unpaid fee. And you will reimburse her for the emotional and administrative burden your actions caused. Avery nods again. Yes, Your Honor. Second, Judy adds, you will provide Miss Torres with a written formal apology. Thoughtful, detailed, genuine. This is not a public relations exercise, it is an acknowledgement of harm. Maria exhales softly, not triumphant, but relieved. Third, Judy continues, her tone turning firm, a report will be forwarded to the appropriate oversight channels regarding your intimidation of others using your father's position. I am not determining disciplinary action that is for them, but I am ensuring they are aware of your conduct. Avery's chin trembles. But she doesn't break. I accept that. The courtroom shifts. That single statement I accept that carries more maturity than anything she has said all day. Judge Judy softens, just slightly. Miss Holt, what you did was wrong, but what you've shown in this courtroom, accountability, vulnerability, truth has value. You cannot change the past, but you absolutely can change who you become after this moment. Avery finally looks up, meeting Judy's eyes with sincerity. Thank you for not giving up on me. Judy holds her gaze. I didn't do this for you. I did it because justice demands it. But what you choose to do with this moment, that, Miss Holt, is entirely yours. Avery nods, wiping one last tear, one that seems to fall for the girl she used to be, not the woman she's becoming. Maria steps forward gently. I hope you take this chance, she says. Not for me, for yourself. Avery gives a small, grateful nod. Judge Judy lifts the gavel once more. Judgment for the plaintiff. Court is adjourned. The gavel hits the block, not with punishment, with clarity. Avery stands slowly, weak, but standing on her own for the first time. As she exits, the weight she carried, borrowed authority, inherited expectations, false strength stays behind. What she takes with her is something new: humility, responsibility, the first true step into becoming her own person. Power isn't what makes a person important. Truth is, because arrogance collapses, but accountability rebuilds.